What is up, everybody, and welcome back to Two Guys Rambling. Today is a very, very special day. We're at Club Humidor in San Antonio, on San Pedro, one of the best cigar shops in San Antonio. The coolest guys we've got in town, and we're very fortunate that they allowed us to film in here and to be in here, so it's going to be a really good time. Today there is a Wildfire event, so of course we've got the one, the only, Mr. Jeremy. How you doing today?
I'm very well.
Yeah,
thanks.
doing good?
Yes.
Are you nervous for the camera?
No. But I am very refreshed by Free Brewing Company and their kind generosity.
You know, that's funny because I'm also very refreshed by Ranger Creek.
Oh.
Who would have thought, huh? Who would have thought of that? This isn't product placement, by the way. This is just what we're enjoying.
Not at all.
That's it. That's it. But the way we start every podcast, Javi, cutting a light, right? What are you smoking today?
A Wildfire B-Sides.
Nice.
Oh, man, I'm actually smoking the same thing. I didn't realize we were smoking the same thing.
Oh, you're smoking the same thing?
It's
I'm
the
not
exact
smoking
same
the same thing.
And what are you smoking?
The Wanderer.
Okay. How you like it?
It's okay.
It's all right.
How do you like
His
it?
own brand. He's like, nah.
It works.
What they were, we were talking to the guys from Domain Cigars, and they're like, what you do is you let them go through the whole interview, and then at the end you tell them that their cigars are terrible.
Right.
And I was like, oh, okay. So you get the content first,
Yeah.
and then you let them go down.
Like, by the way, it sucks.
Yeah. Just wanted to let you know. A handy dandy Club Humidor
Retail.
cutter. Huh? Definitely not product placement. Right, Keith?
Right?
Keith is just like off in the corners, making sure that we say Club Humidor as many times as we can. Yeah, he's got a counter.
Right? A clicker?
Let's see if they'll come back again.
I love Club Humidor.
Like, Club Humidor is amazing.
Club Humidor is the best.
Club Humidor is one of the only cigar shops I ever go to.
Yeah. Club Humidor. Oh, yeah, sorry. We don't want to overkill it.
Yeah, don't want to overkill it. All right, so I want to start with. So one of the big things that we always try to do too is when we get cigar manufacturers on the podcast, we try to not just make it about the cigars, but about you guys as well too.
Yep.
And starting out and doing all that good stuff. So tell us a little bit about how it was growing up in Orange County and life in California at that time.
Orange County in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Is that the only thing that went on in Orange
Yeah,
County?
I was like, okay,
They
we'll
got
move on.
us.
Yeah,
They
it's
got
just
us a
like-
good time.
They said they wanted an 8-hour interview, and I'm like, let's turn this down to like 8 minutes. give them all the real in-depth content.
That's it.
Cigars are great. Orange County's great. Thanks, guys.
That's it, and we're done.
Yeah.
And then
It was
close up
fantastic.
shop. Close up shop.
Right?
Actually, events done.
Right, you
Events-
guys need to
events
leave. Pack up the camera.
No, I mean, Orange County was cool because it's like, I mean, I grew up in very much, there was a good punk scene in Orange County, which
Yeah.
is weird that in Orange County and not LA,
Sure.
there was music, but it was a cool time to grow up. And yeah, I mean, I grew up going to shows, and 3 nights a week I was out all night and like going to punk rock shows and hardcore shows, and like I skateboarded and
Yeah.
did all the like,
The Orange County.
yeah,
things to
whatever
do.
you'd
Yeah.
assume that a kid does in Orange County. Skateboarded, I would surf.
Yeah.
It's never very good at surfing because I didn't like the cold water,
Oh, okay.
but I did. But yeah, I mean, it was like, there was a movie, Gleaming the Cube. I don't know
Okay.
if you ever saw it.
Yeah.
Christian Slater and Tony Hawk was in it. And it was a phenomenal depiction because it takes place in Orange County of that time.
And that life,
Yeah.
the lifestyle, the
Yeah.
chill back.
Yeah, just skating parks and schools and
Yeah.
any staircase, and then music. And
Did you play in any bands growing
I
up?
did. I played from like 14 till currently. I still play music,
Badass.
but yeah, I mean, played with different bands, going to shows. Like you just,
Yeah. What do you play?
Guitar,
Guitar. Badass.
a rhythm guitarist.
Yeah. I started playing guitar too, and then that's super funny because the last interview we had was Pete Johnson. Pete Johnson also played guitar, and he was in LA too.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's good. Did you ever play together?
No,
No?
and like, but Pete was more in the like hair metal
Yeah.
thing, and I was more in the dirty, grimy punk rock
Gotcha,
thing, like
okay.
where, it wasn't about skill. It was just aggression.
That was it?
Yeah.
Straight aggression.
Which, like when you find like you're, a boy going through puberty and you need to like,
Oh, yeah.
you got some like
Just
built up.
let some shit out.
It's like, it was perfect. Like I remember, like I was into metal, and I think it was like 6th grade. So I had a friend that invited me to a show. It was a punk show. And I was like, what is this shit? I was just like, my eyes were I was just like, there's like a pit, and the guy has like a sock full of sand, just whipping it around, knocking people. And I was just like, this shit is wild.
Yeah.
This is me.
That's cool.
So I just found my home in it.
Yeah. So what was like your real first exposure to cigars? How did you start? Like, how did you start smoking cigars? How did you start doing all that?
Well, so growing up, my uncles at every holiday, my 2 uncles would sit out on, grandma's patio. They would smoke a cigar. And so like growing up, I would see them and I would be like, I want to be like them.
Yeah.
And for some reason, it was just like, that's what men do. Right.
Yeah.
And so I saw them and I'd be like, I want to smoke with you. And they'd let me like take,
Yeah.
a
puff of it.
puff. And then I was just like, one day I'm going to sit with them
Yeah.
at these like events. And so on my 18th birthday, I went to 7-Eleven. I bought a Garcia Vega 3-pack because I didn't know there were proper cigar stores. I didn't know anything about cigars. So I bought a Snapple and a Garcia Vega. Went back to my
That's
parents'
the mixture
house.
right there.
Yeah.
That's the mixture.
Kiwi strawberry, to be exact.
Kiwi strawberry is the best Snapple. I want that to be said right now. Kiwi
Agreed.
strawberry is
But
is the
not
best.
nearly as good as Freetail. Just
Or Ranger Creek. Look at that.
Yeah.
Oh.
the bat out of hells
While we drink them at Club Humidor.
at Club Humidor.
At Club Humidor.
Um,
Keith, you got those? There was 3 more Club Humidors.
in context,
Yes.
we're good. So I sat on my parents' roof because they're anti-smoking. They still are, and
Whoa.
and thought like I made it.
Yeah.
This is what men do. They sit on
Yeah.
their parents' roofs and smoke cheap ass
7-Eleven
cigars.
cigars.
That was and then it was shortly after that I got exposed to like premium cigars, and I went into a shop, and I think my first premium cigar was an Ashton Classic.
What an asshole. What a dick.
That's the fog machine.
That's exactly what that is.
So
Ashton?
Yeah, it was an Ashton Classic. I think it's hard to remember exactly, but it was. But yeah, I found it, and it wasn't at a proper cigar store, but it was like at a liquor store with a little walk-in.
Sure.
And so
like a Total Wine or a Specs or something.
yeah, something to that effect. But and then I started looking. Because this is all pre-internet, so I was looking through like the yellow pages to try to find
a
tobacco
cigar shop,
shops.
yeah.
And so then I went around to them, and I was like, oh, there's actual cigar shops. So it was like from first puff, even though it was a shitty cigar, it was a great experience. And then I just dove
head first.
head first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really the way me and Javi started too, because when we turned 18, we started coming here and hanging out at Club Humidor. And
before they raised the age to 21.
Yeah, before, yeah. And we were like, and we had the same mindset, right? Like that's what men do, right? They go and they smoke cigars and they chill out and they talk and then these guys, Keith, Joe, all of them, like just started helping us out and finding new cigars, and like we completely fell in love with it. So like,
how did you get your first job in the cigar industry?
I think it was 2001. So I was working at a grocery. Actually, I think at that point I was working at Trader Joe's, and I was into cigars, but cigars are expensive.
yeah,
So I went around to the different shops, and I asked, like, you need someone to clean the floors, or like, and finally one of the shops, they were getting close to going to the RTDA, which then turned into IPCPR, which
yeah.
now PCA,
PCA.
right? And the shop was going to go, so they needed someone to watch the shop. And so they're like, well, hey, you can work here for a week. And I was like, sweet. And then I never left. So it started off like as a second job. And then like a few months later, I was there full time.
That's cool.
And then I worked there for the next 11 years. So
Oh, wow. Okay.
before I started like going on the other side.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I just wanted to do it because it was expensive and I wanted to cut the costs.
Yeah. Sure. Get the discount.
And like learn about, but yeah, I never like set out to be like in the cigar industry.
Yeah.
I just was like poor.
Yeah. Picked up a job.
Right.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, this will help pay for my.
You had to like eat at night and
Right,
stuff,
right.
and you know.
Because it's like Top Ramen's cool.
And then you had to go buy like Ranger Creek
Oh yeah, Ranger Creek and
and Freetail.
Freetail.
Look at that.
Bat out of hell.
Yeah.
German style lager.
It's actually pretty
Tastes
good.
fantastic
it's
here
actually,
at Club
really
Humidor.
good. Here at Club Humidor. Best place to come. Sit down, smoke cigars, and drink. BYOB.
Club Humidor, where you can be a man.
Man,
That was pretty good.
as Sam looks at us, or woman lawyer. Sam's off the screen mean mugging me right now. I love you, Sam. Shout out to Sam. So where did that initial, like, you're working in the cigar industry, you're doing the thing, where are you like, I've got to go, and you have an ashtray behind you if you need it.
Oh, I do.
Um,
I'm just not, double jointed.
Make sure you get
Put
your
one in the middle.
stretched out.
Yeah.
No pun intended. Where did that official, like, that turn from, all right, I'm working in the cigar industry, I want to own a fucking cigar brand. Like, how did that happen?
I have no idea.
Okay.
No, I mean, like, it wasn't a set out plan.
Yeah.
Like, I knew, I loved cigars and I loved tobacco and I worked on the retail end. And then I was like, all right, like, what would be the next step? And so then, because I didn't want to like open up a shop, or I wasn't going to open a shop. So
Sure.
I was like, oh, I could become, a rep, right? And it's just kind of like I got more and more, like, sunk more and more into this industry. And, I had already been a part of Caldwell Cigars from the conception of that brand. And I was a partner in the brand. I was the national sales manager, but I had learned about importing. I had established relationships, on a national level with retailers. And I had, made relationships with other manufacturers and the factories. So I just got to the point when I was with Caldwell where I was like, I did everything I wanted to do.
Yeah, on that side.
Yeah, and I was just like, I just wanted to do something for myself. So it wasn't so much that it was like, I want to have a cigar company per se. It was more so like, well, what could I do that I haven't done?
Yeah.
Because I've already done
Yeah, you
all
did the
these
retail.
other,
You went and worked for cigar
and it's like,
manufacturing.
I know I don't want to own a shop.
Yeah.
I know I don't want to do, a lateral move and go to another company and be a national sales manager. So I was just like, well, I love cigars and it'd be really cool to like put my perspective, with blends and stuff. So I was just like, why not do that?
Yeah.
And so I was like, if I could find investors, then I'll do it. And so I was able to find some investors and then like get it rolling. And now here we are.
How was that feeling, man? Being able to go and see your cigars sitting there in a cigar shop for the first time.
Oh, it's a trip. I mean, it's cool. It's like, like I imagine it's like, when you're a kid and you draw a picture and then your parents put it on the like
fridge,
refrigerator.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like that feeling like, oh man, I made it.
Yeah.
I'm on the fridge
I'm on the
now.
fridge, man. Yeah.
I'm on the fucking
Yeah.
fridge.
Yeah.
Like, you're
Slim Jim break. Everybody needs one. That's a real cigar.
Right?
Club Humidor,
Club Humidor.
jerky cigars.
They come,
Never knew Slim Jim.
they come feed you
Getting a
while
little
you're...
meaty flavor on this one?
Yeah.
Yeah, right? A little meaty, a little greasy, a little
Earthy,
little earthy,
tainty.
a little tainty.
Yeah.
I would question Alex about that one.
Yeah,
Makes
well,
sense. Makes sense.
consider the source.
So the name Wildfire. How did you come up with that name?
Well, I had another name that I thought was cooler, and I had gone through the trademark process. At the end of your trademark, right, it goes public, and it can be disputed. And there was a guy opening a shop under the same name I was going to use, and I'd gotten the trademark had gone through, but I was like, I don't want to get into a pissing match off the get-go.
Yeah.
Like, that's just not.
Yeah.
I reached out to him. He was like, no, I want to use it. Wasn't very friendly about it.
Yeah.
And so I just was like, I don't want to come out of the gates with a lawsuit. Like, that's not
the way to start a business.
nor do I, like it's going to cost me money.
Yeah.
And like it for what?
Yeah.
So I was we already had developed the logo of the campfire. So then I was trying to figure out like, what could I use? And then the news was on and California was on fire because of wildfires. And I was like, fuck yeah, there we go.
I assumed that's where it was from, but I didn't want to be like, yeah. So growing up in Orange County, is that where you came up with Wildfire?
Yeah.
But
so it's very much on the nose. I had someone tell me that my brand is insensitive.
oh my God.
But of course you would get that,
Jesus
right?
Christ, yeah.
And I was like, yeah. Very
God,
insensitive.
I'm so sorry for being insensitive
All
to the
right.
wildfire. I'll ask them about their feelings next time.
What's
So-
rad is I'm doing some like event with the Orange County Fire Department.
Oh,
coming
that's
up.
cool.
That's
Okay.
Because they're like, dude, we're into it. And I'm like, yeah, I'm
Yeah,
into
you would
it.
think they
Like,
would,
Let,
you
let's
know,
do
yeah.
this. So we're doing a event together.
That's pretty cool. When's that event?
October,
know?
I think, like
October?
3rd or 4th.
Okay. So there you go. Anybody in Orange County, if I can go check it out there, that'd be cool. Is it? It's in Orange County, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's gonna be cool. Do you still live in Orange County?
I do.
Badass.
Did you have any like struggles when you first started Wildfire?
Yeah, I mean, nothing but struggles.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I had 2 investors. You know, one of them opted out pretty shortly after, so I had to give the money back. And then so we started on half capacity.
Oh, damn.
I mean, there's been a million. That's all it is like this uphill climb. But
Yeah.
I mean, but anything worth doing and investing your time is gonna there's gonna be a grind
Yeah,
for it. So
for sure.
It is. I've most certainly, in some ways I've had it like my foot in the door above some other people because of the fact that I already had relationships across the country, and it wasn't
Yeah.
like I was a new guy coming into the industry. It was just I'm a new guy coming out with a line, but I had been in the industry.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of things that like that. But people's misconception is like that gets you into the door. That doesn't make the cigar sell.
Absolutely.
So it's like that. Yeah, it's like I got the introductions.
Yeah.
But after that, it's like
It doesn't do anybody any good for it to just sit on the shelf.
Right.
Yeah, it's got to
Right.
sell. It's got to move. Yeah. No, I agree. I come from a background in sales, so like selling shit and computers, and I worked at Best Buy and all that stuff. So I completely get that. I get what you're saying. What do you think was that really pushed for you that got you, selling cigars, that got your cigars moving off the shelves? I mean,
I started an OnlyFans account, and that
That's
really
good.
helped.
That's the way we're trying to go.
Yeah, I highly recommend it.
This podcast called Two Guys Rambling. Our OnlyFans is Two Guys Ramming.
Or rimming? Depends on how we
Rimming.
go.
Whichever word.
yeah, yeah.
Whichever word. Yeah.
By the way, at Club Humidor, we accept
Club Humidor. Bathrooms are very private. So what are the biggest differences you've seen from starting in 01 to like what Wildfire is now in 2023?
Good God, it's an entirely different industry, and it's changed over like 4 or 5 times.
Yeah.
I mean, from the time when when I first got into the industry, boutiques weren't, in 2001. I mean, that's pre Pete Johnson. That's before Dion. That's before Jonathan Drew. I mean,
Boosie, all the guys, right? Like,
so I got to see the boutique industry, as we'll call it, right?
Yeah,
For
yeah.
like lack of a better term, birth, like with those guys, and then them paved the way, and like the market changed where, I saw the struggle of like boutiques getting a foothold in stores because like you had all your majors and they were like, I don't, the heritage brands and all that.
Yeah.
And, but like in 2013, when 13 or 14, when Caldwell launched, it was like the perfect timing for a brand like that, right? To like hit the market and be received. And versus like when I launched in the end of 21 with Wildfire, like, even though I have all these relationships and all this, like, it's a bloodbath out there. It's a very different, because there are so many good cigars out there. Everyone's got their own angle or spin on things. So it's like, it's cool because there's enough room for everyone at the table, right? So like, but we're all still eating off the same pie. And those slices are getting smaller and smaller because the pie doesn't increase.
Sure.
So it's a very different, like from, I don't think I launched at the optimum time, but what are you going to not launch? Because like it's a rough market. Yeah. Because we were coming off
the cigar boom, right?
Yeah. I mean, you had COVID, right? Mm-hmm. And cigars just boom, skyrocketed. And that was cool. But then people got back to life and like started,
Yeah.
So we've been trilling downwards as an industry coming off that. So I kind of came in at the very tail end of it. But like I said, I mean, it just means it's like you have to grind harder for less result, but it's still worth it.
Yeah. At the end, right? Because it's the dream, right? Like you're working toward the dream. No, trust me, we get that. Trying
Everything
to grind
we're
out.
Doing is hard.
Podcast, you know what I mean? It's hard.
For masturbation.
That's true.
Well, it should be hard a little bit. Yeah.
It's hard. But just
it is a little hard, It's just a different kind of hard,
I mean, I guess it would be hard if it wasn't hard.
That would be very difficult.
It's very hard. Well,
be like a teddy bear, a flat teddy bear. Like it doesn't. Like, how do you take that to town?
Yeah. How do you work with that? We're Hispanic though. We're ingenuitive.
That's how.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
A lot of anger.
Mm-hmm.
Hobby.
So take us through like some of the icon. Like I'm not gonna say every line of cigar you have, but like your, let's say, top three, if you can have a top three, and like what went into blending those and what that process was like.
What are the top three sellers here of Wildfire? Because those are going to be my three favorites.
Those are just three favorites. Right. The ones you can go get that are available right now at Club Humidor.
Yeah. Well, the Wanderer is my favorite.
Okay.
We'll
cut out that part and we'll just right back to Wanderer is my favorite.
Wanderer is my favorite. No, Wanderer actually is the one I smoke the most of. I like the Wanderer, the intro and the hook are my three. The intro and the hook are both LEs, so the regular production Wanderer is my favorite. I launched with Revivalist, and I figured this out that I tend to make a lot of parallels with cigars and music because like music is such a part of my life.
Yeah.
And I create cigars for like a specific intention in my mind.
Okay.
Like Revivalist was designed because I was like, oh, I want a cigar that when I'm sitting around a campfire, it feels like the cigar I should be smoking while I'm around a campfire.
Sure.
Which really makes no sense when you're trying to build something to sell to the world.
Sure.
That like you've created a scenario in your head in which that should exist.
Only a handful of people, that are
right.
Yeah.
But I can't help it. That's the way it's like when I write a song. I want to write a specific song with a specific feeling, and so I do the same thing with cigars. And so to me, it's like I love the Revivalist, but I love it when I'm fishing and when I'm camping. Gotcha. Because it feels like that's what it was made for, even though it's just, you don't need that environment for it. But,
absolutely.
But in my head, that's where it fits.
That's where it fits, yeah.
And like Wanderer for me, like is just like, it satisfies what I love about tobacco. It has like baking spices and like just, it's rich but not heavy. And so for me, I love that it gives me like some complexity and things that I really like finding that I don't see all that often in other blends.
Cool.
And then, you know, I mean, the portfolio isn't really, it'll probably continually change, you know, over the years, right?
Absolutely.
Because like as the portfolio grows,
different blends come out.
right.
And yeah.
It's new. So I smoke it. Obviously I'm smoking a lot of my stuff, smoke a lot of other people's stuff as well. But what's funny to me is I'm typically not a big fan of Sumatra wrappers, Ecuadorian Sumatra wrappers. But I had smoked a couple cigars that I thought were damn good.
With the Sumatra,
So then it inspired me to make the Wanderer using the Sumatra, because I was like, I want to use a wrapper that I don't really like, but these people that have put it out have found a way where I do like it.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily the wrapper I dislike, it's the tobaccos they're using with it.
Gotcha.
And so it became kind of this like project to me. Like, I want to make a Sumatra that I really like.
Yeah.
And so I really like it.
That's cool. What was that like first going and blending your first cigar that you rolled out, right? Like with Wildfire. How was that? Like, how many times did you go back to the drawing board and recreate it?
Too many.
Yeah.
I mean, it was stressful as fuck, because it's like you're trying to make something and you have no idea, and you're about to put a lot of money behind that.
Yeah.
And you don't know if anyone else is going to like it.
Yeah.
Right? So it's terrifying, because like there was also, I think, somewhat of an expectation. I think people thought like, oh, is Jeremy going to be like another Caldwell? Is he going to like try to go that route?
Yeah.
Is he going to? And so I purposely didn't work with the factory in DR, like Ventura factory, because I wanted it to be like
different.
This is not.
Yeah.
I'm doing my own thing.
Yeah. It's not a branch of Caldwell. It's
right.
Yeah.
Right.
It's Jeremy's. He's taking.
But in doing so, I'd gotten over the past few years, obviously very familiar with a lot of those tobaccos. So it was a learning experience as well, getting refamiliarized with tobaccos that I had never played with. Because, I mean, over the years when I was with Caldwell, anytime we're at the factory, I'd be playing around with tobacco. Just none of that stuff
Sure.
ever came to be anything.
Yeah.
Except for maybe me,
Yeah.
you know. But no, it's terrifying because you don't know. Like, hopefully it resonates with someone else. And you know, the Revivalist came out and it had like an immediate, like, okay, response and stuff. But then it kind of like settled, and it's the only cigar I had on the market for over a year.
Yeah.
So obviously it's not going to support me, right?
Yeah.
With my level of distribution and the fact that I only had one line. So I was like, I need to be more aggressive and get other blends out there to start giving some diversity in profiles and styles of cigars. But no, I mean, the crazy thing is the Revivalist was blended back by the only one in the portfolio because it was all done during COVID. So I couldn't go to the factory. So it was mailed back and forth from Hoya. So I would say I just was looking at this bag I have in the house, and it's all these iterations of the Revivalist. And I'm like, what am I going to do with this? And then I was like, maybe one day I'll bring it to an event and it's all the prototypes of the Revivalist, because we were just sending stuff back and forth. Oh, and let's make this change. But then you have to wait for them to do it. So it was a pretty daunting process because, you know, versus just going to the factory and being able to figure out those things within 5 minutes.
Yeah.
This was, I got to wait, 3 weeks in between each.
Yeah. To get them back in. Yeah.
Yeah. And then honestly, it's like getting it back and then, if I liked it, then letting it rest and acclimate. And so the process was much longer than what it should take, but we couldn't get over there.
Yeah. Do you go over there often now? I
mean, I go over at Hoya. I don't really have to, like, for production and stuff like that. Like, they're seamless.
Sure.
anytime there's a new, like a reorder, they send me, just to like sign off on like this batch is good, right?
Gotcha.
I tend to spend more time at FTC in Honduras, which is the other factory I've worked with. But it's because there it's so much more of a learning process. Like when I go to Hoya, it's a much more guided process, right?
Gotcha.
They're going to be like, they make all the changes. They do all the things for you, right?
Yeah.
At FTC, I'm in a room just with piles of tobacco. And they're like, tell us when you have something, right? So it's like baptism by fire.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I like that, though, because it's giving me such more of an in-depth learning of the tobaccos I'm working with.
That's cool.
So I think you can see like in the cigars that I'm doing between them and like the Hoya stuff's a little more conservative, and then the stuff coming out of FTC is a little more like always putting some unique tobaccos together.
Gotcha.
So they're both needed, right? And it's an education in both respects. But I kind of like the just like, fuck it, let's figure something out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Pete Johnson was telling us that he's gotten to the point where he's like making cigars for himself, and if other people like them, they like them. Whenever he rolls out a line, right?
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. That's what, like when he's like kind of like what you said, right? Like
Yeah.
he wanted a cigar that when you were fishing and out camping and stuff like that, he was like the brown label's off my palate. Like that's what I like to smoke. That's what I like to be around. How often do you try to come out with new lines of cigars? Like, is there, I don't know, is there any method to it? You're like, oh, by, 2026, I want to have this line out or whatever it may be.
I mean, a little bit,
Yeah, is
but
there
not.
anything like that?
Honestly, for me, I always want to be working on the next project. Now, when
Sure.
that comes out is when it comes out. But I mean, like, we're in such an industry now that it's all like the latest and the greatest, and everyone has an attention span of 4 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah.
That like their expectation, it's like I'll drop a cigar, and then people are like, "When's your next one?" And
Yeah.
so it's a tough game to get
Yeah.
into because it's like, hey man, like I'm, they're like, there's just no attention span. They're like,
Yeah.
they smoke it. Oh yeah, well I already tried that one. Well, how about you smoke it again?
Yeah.
Right? Or like,
Yeah.
so
Take some home, man. Age them for a little while,
like I have a blend that's done that I'll release PCA 25 and it'll be a regular production.
Okay.
So my goal was to have like 4 lines on the market, so that was a planned
Yeah.
thing. But the LEs I do just as they kind of come to me and I think they would be cool to do.
Yeah.
So it's not really like trying to fill a pipeline. It's more so
I got you.
because they don't. The cool thing about LEs is you can like go outside the box and you can try. I think for me, I can be a little more bold in my choices because they're typically going to sell because they're an LE,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But they're not like the biggest moneymaker for all the work that goes into them.
Sure.
It's more so just to kind of keep relevance and like awareness that I'm around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like I said, it's like everything's so microwave, like 30 seconds, come on, we're done. When is it? Like that, it's just, it's impossible to keep up with what people want.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, especially in an industry where there's there's just always new cigars, right? Like there's just always somebody's rolling out something. But like to build a following, man, like that's the goal, right? Like
Yeah.
so that way when you come out the cigar, people are like, oh man, like I want to go. And especially the whole wildfire and that kind of thing for the guys that do camp or hunt or stuff like that. It'd be cool to come out with like a whitetail and an access and you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
we're hunters. We hunt a lot. And I mean, being South Texas, right? Like that's what we like to do. So like, that'd be cool. You know what I mean? Having a hunting line and that'd be badass.
Yeah, there's some stuff in the works that is kind of built for that type of you know, without saying too much,
Yeah,
kind
too
of
much,
going into that realm where it's like for camping, for
Cool.
like, you know, where it's just like a bit more rugged
Yeah.
and like, because I think like there's a place for that, right? I
Mhm.
mean, like
For
we
sure.
all have come from different walks of life, and like
Absolutely.
we're not all wanting to sit around and be all bougie. Some of us are like,
Yeah.
give me a PBR and like let's fucking
Let's
go,
fucking go.
right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
like, and that's what I love about cigars. It's like you can still have something premium,
Yeah.
but it not be, you know, over glorified with like,
Yeah, it doesn't have all that flashy stuff.
Right.
And it's just, yeah. It's
because
just,
that's obviously not me.
nah, hey,
You know
but
what I mean? I know I look it,
exactly.
but you know,
Everything
make-
doesn't have to be flashy,
no,
man. You know what I
You
mean?
ain't gotta
Like,
be bougie all the time.
I agree. I completely
Which is
agree.
kind of why I do so much of the like tongue in cheek,
Yeah.
counselor stuff, because it's kind of like, I take tobacco seriously, but I don't take myself seriously,
That's fair enough.
right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's like the cigars are good, but I mean, like, I can have fun with it.
Yeah.
For sure.
Doing lunges and dolphin shorts at the trade show, making people see things they can't unsee.
Yeah.
I'm all about it.
But that's their fault.
Yeah.
They were
They
looking.
looked.
They were
They
looking.
looked.
I agree.
I didn't say,
agree.
hey, you have to stare, but they did.
They looked at you. That's the thing.
It's on them.
Any, not like regrets, but any like, man, I should have maybe did the blend this way, or man, I should have jumped on this cigar when we had the idea, or anything like that.
Well, you know, like, I thought about, like, with the Revivalist, right? I thought about, because I was so unsure, because it's like you keep working it and you keep working it, and you don't know if I overworked it, and you get, like, you just, because you can keep making changes, and
Yeah.
it's endless. And then, so when I first released it, I was like, well, if there's enough, you know, criticism or like, hey, maybe this, I thought maybe I would go back to the drawing board,
Okay.
but I opted not to, because like I feel like everything you do should be kind of a reflection of that time. Like I want it to be kind of a documented, like, and not like, oh, they're bad and then they get better, but like this is the journey of like Wildfire, right? This is like, so I wouldn't revise anything, because I don't think that it's like, the thing is it might, if I make an alteration to a blend and now it's more in your palate, but now it's less yours,
Yeah.
right? Or I
Yeah.
do something and it goes more your direction.
Yep.
I mean, you're never going to
Sure.
appease or get every palate anyways.
Can't. Yeah. There's no
So
way.
you really do, like, I was talking with Juan Martinez, who's at Hoya, and he said, you know, we were going back and forth with the Revivalist. He's like, you're never going to make the perfect cigar, man. Like, he's like, do you like it? And I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
And he's like,
Let's
move
do
to
it.
the next
Yeah.
thing.
Let's do it. Yeah.
And I was like, it's that simple? And I'm like, yeah, well, that simple. When then I have to put, you know, $75,000 behind. I can't have it just be that simple.
Yeah.
Like, you know, but
Yeah.
it really is like that.
Yeah.
Though. It's like, you just have to get to a point where you're like, okay, let go. It's like raising your kid, right?
Yeah.
At some point, they just are going to go out and do whatever the fuck they're going to do. And you can't nanny them. And it's like the same thing. It's like,
Yeah.
I developed these blends, but at some point it's like, they just got to do what they're going to do.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's the way it was. Like when we first started the podcast, it was like, want everything tailored and everything to be perfect and everything to be, and then finally got to the point where like, fuck it, dude. Let's just make
do whatever
content,
we
dude.
want,
Let's
and if
just
people
make
like it,
fucking
they like
content.
it.
Yeah. And if people watch, they watch. If they don't watch, they don't fucking watch.
Right.
Like it is what it is at that point, right? Like you just got to Hail Mary pass it kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything, Avi?
So, do you have any advice for like a brand just starting out, like a boutique brand?
Yeah, don't do it.
You know, everybody has that same advice.
Everyone
man.
says that.
Everybody has
You
that
know what's so
same
funny
advice.
is Matt Booth sent me this card,
Okay.
and I have it on my wall at home, and it says, "Jeb, why did you do this? You know this game. Don't do it. Run away."
Matt would never send something
Right,
like
no.
that. Yeah.
Never.
Not
it's-
Matt Booth.
But it's, and then it's got a little heart in his name. No, I mean, I wouldn't say don't do it, but I mean, like, it's there's this perception, right, that it's like we just sit around and we smoke cigars,
Yeah.
and it's like
It's
the
a
amount of
fucking
time,
grind.
resources, relationships that have gone south
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
yeah.
Before we started, we were talking about how much you have to tour,
Right.
like how many shops you got to go to, and like you got here yesterday, and then you're taking off, and then you're going to go do another show, and like I think people think that it's really fun to be able to go like, oh, we're going to go chill at cigar shops and talk to people all day, and then you're at your fifth one in a month, and you're like, fuck.
Right. Well, I mean, it's a different type of work, right?
Yeah.
Because it's not necessarily in the sense of like, I'm not digging a trench.
Yeah.
Right. I'm pretty lucky. I get to smoke cigars, but alongside of it is just there's this assumption that all I like do is like I'm sitting in Honduras and I'm working at this factory, and it's like, what a fucking bitch it is to get to that factory right now.
Yeah.
You got to fly in. I have to take a red eye. Then it's a 5-hour drive through the hills. Then you get, and it's just like, then you get there, and it's like, but everyone has this like ideal that it's like, oh, it's so beautiful,
glitz and glamour.
Yeah, and it's like you're exhausted, right?
Yeah.
And then you're all day testing stuff, and your palate's shot.
Yeah.
I'm not complaining in the sense that I get to enjoy what I do.
No, absolutely.
But there's this misnomer that it's just like all rainbows and unicorns, and it's like
nobody talks about the 2 hours of sleep you get one night, and or some nights where you're up, you're thinking about the cigar blends, and I completely get that.
So I wouldn't say don't do it, but I would just say don't do it.
Yeah,
I got you.
Yeah.
And if you're gonna do it, be ready to grind it out.
Just I think you have to have a few loose screws in order to like be a little delusional. Like it's kind of like the guy that was just gonna tour in his van and like hopes that some record producer is gonna be sitting at the show.
Yeah.
It's kind of that same mentality of like, no, it's gonna happen, bro.
Yeah,
just next city, city.
Like starting a podcast out of a spare bedroom in a house, and just hoping that a place like Club Humidor lets you come and smoke in their cigar shop and helps you out, right? Just like that. So where do you see...
This free tail is really, just want to say it's really nice.
Yeah, it's delicious, right? It's crazy because my Ranger Creek is still cold.
Yeah.
Still cold.
It's amazing that it stays cold.
And that flavor that you get off it. So, after COVID, during COVID, cigar industry's in a boom. Everybody's at home, locked up. What else do you do but sit around, smoke cigars, and be on Teams meetings all day? Yep. Now that we're kind of like tapering down from that boom, where do you think the cigar industry's headed? Like, how do you see it?
Well, I was talking about this last night. I think we're getting pretty damn close to a particular company having a monopoly in this industry.
Sure.
And it's changing the game.
Yep.
Because small brands
getting bought up. Yep.
It's good for small brands that there's the ability for acquisitions where they can sell.
Yeah.
What's bad for it is that diversity in like, humidors, like as this happens more and more, there's going to be less room for independent guys because you're going to be able to stock your entire humidor. Yeah. Oh yeah, sure.
Well,
free
tail. Look at that.
What do you know?
Look at that. Would never guess.
Double the pleasure.
Would never guess free tail.
But it's a weird time though, because like it's, and with like all the different like legal, I'm in California. I mean, we have like, I think it's like 38 cities are non-smoke free in California now.
Jesus Christ.
It's like, it's getting to the point where like, the problem is it happens there and then it starts spreading everywhere else. And so like, the whole FDA thing, we got some relief for, right? But it's not gone.
Nope.
It's just simmering in the background.
A little bit, yeah.
And so that's awesome that right now we have the ability to like move forward and push as an industry. But I mean, the reality is like, as it gets harder and harder, or they've changed the, smoking ages and they had, some of the states are trying to pass that, like where it's like after a certain date, you'll never, so that some people will never be old enough to like smoke
cigars.
Hawaii, New Zealand, some of these places where it's passed.
Yeah.
it's shrinking our industry rather than us growing.
Yeah.
And that's hard because if you're a business and there's no new growth, then everyone's just exchanging, like I was kind of saying, off that pie.
Yeah.
So it's a little more cutthroat.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's no changing that.
Yeah, there's no stopping it.
Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately. Is there any like we kind of talked a little bit about building like a small company, right? Like, how does somebody who's coming into it be competitive? Is it like they got to make good cigars, right? Stuff that tastes good and stuff that appeals to people. But how's the Yeah. Oh. But if there's like, how do you get into this industry and be competitive? You know, like, I mean, how do you do that?
How do you be competitive?
Yeah.
Good Lord, I don't know.
It's hard,
it's
right?
Like, there's not a set answer, right? Because like it depends on how you set it up. Some of these guys like build just going direct to consumer,
Sure.
right? And if social media plays into it, you have like Pravada that like exists purely because of the presence they've built.
Yeah.
And they've built a successful business on it that doesn't rely off of brick and mortars, right? Yeah. They utilize some of it, but it doesn't rely on it. Which is weird because that's new to our industry that you have this
the subscription.
You have like a force to be reckoned with in our industry that really isn't a part of our industry.
Yeah.
Doesn't participate in our industry, but yet is feeding a lot of our industry.
Yeah.
It's a like, so I mean, relevance is, it's like, sure, there's the social media game but like, I'm a firm believer that like, you know, you go door to door, you know, and this this industry is made up of relationships. So like, to me, that never changes, right? It's personal. So like, it's just, you got to grind.
Yeah.
Like there's so many good small brands out there and I'm just like, they don't have a shot in hell.
Yeah.
Because I see like, you know, at the show and I'm just like, 2 people in the whole show walk up to their booth and I'm like, all right, they won't be around next year.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with the quality of their cigars.
Absolutely.
100%.
So, I mean, I'm not really in the like market to tell everybody how to do things because I think what works for me is just doing what I do and being authentic to that.
Yeah.
And hopefully that works. But like, I don't think it's like a roadmap, you know, for every company. Although I will say, I think we're like oversaturated with gimmicks.
That's
you know, and I think that shit is like doesn't last long. It comes out, it might get 5 minutes of fame, and then it just kind of like
it burns out.
Yeah, like we don't, you know, people just want a good quality cigar, right? That tastes good, that they can enjoy, and that they can afford.
Yeah.
Outside of that, I mean, it's all preference, right?
Yeah.
So, I had a guy come up to me and tell me at the show. He didn't know who I was, which is fine. It's not like, oh, you don't know me, fuck you.
Yeah.
You know, but he didn't know I had been in the industry for 20 plus years.
Yeah.
And so when he was telling me and kind of coaching me, and I was like, oh, okay, what should I do on how to build the brand? And I was like, this guy won't be around in a year. You know, like I just listened to him and I was like, thank you so much. Appreciate it. He walked away. I was like, bye.
Yeah.
So do you have a go-to pairing when you smoke a cigar? Like what beverages do you like to drink, or whether it be liquor, coffee, beer, whatever?
I mean, historically, yes. Currently, no. Like I don't pair anymore. I just pair with whatever. It's typically coffee.
Okay.
It's the best. I
like
love it.
Cigars with coffee.
I love
Doesn't
it.
matter the cigar. But if I want to nerd out, I love. It's funny. I love a Padron 26 #2 Maduro with Irish whiskey, like Jameson is specific. So like cheap ass Irish whiskey with an ultra premium cigar, because it's like it gives this like chocolatey, delicious like thing I love. So that's like my favorite pairing. But 99% of the time now, it's just like I think IPAs suck with cigars.
Yeah.
Yet drink IPAs all the time with
smoke
cigars.
Yeah, it happens.
Just because it's there,
Yeah.
right? It's
Yeah.
like, oh,
Yeah.
cool. So, yeah, I haven't nerded out for a while in that realm, but I do like to do that.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Kind of.
You?
No, honestly, I just drink like a Coke and a cigar. I don't like coffee.
Have you ever drank
Freetail?
Freetail?
You know, I actually drank Ranger Creek with my cigar today, and it was delicious.
I'm looking forward to trying.
I'm out here
fantastic.
repping the Koch brothers.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need that sponsor, right? Imagine.
The Koch brothers.
So coming toward the end of the interview here, one, Javi, what do you rate your cigar?
Oh, solid 10, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, I'm tempted. I'm probably gonna go buy more.
Yeah, actually,
Right now.
Do it.
This
Buy 80 of them.
80 of them. Buy
80.
them all, Javi.
Buy
Javi
them
can
all.
do it. Javi can do it. And
It's a
that's
limit.
why.
Once they're gone, you won't be able to buy it, and then you'll be sad.
Yep.
And
All right.
And that's why you have to like, share, comment on this video.
To feed the
and
addiction.
subscribe. Yeah. So that way me and Javi can buy more cigars, because that's naturally
At Club
what we have to
Humidor.
do. At Club
Only
Humidor.
at Club Humidor.
Always at Club Humidor.
Well, anywhere you can
honestly,
find-
I give mine a solid 10 too. Actually, the B series. I hadn't had the B series before.
Neither have I.
And this was really, really good. I liked it a lot. I liked the
Yeah.
flavor. It's got those chocolatey, like coconut notes in the back. Like, that was really, really good. I liked it a lot. So,
well, 10 sounds really high, but what's it out of? 100?
Yeah, no, it's out of 1 to 10.
Because I was like,
Yeah.
wait, where
He
did
said
I?
yeah.
I was like, wait, no.
Oh man, that's badass. Because I was like, great.
no,
No,
10
it's
out of
1 to
100.
10.
Yeah.
1 to 10.
it's out of 1,000, actually.
Yeah.
No. No, we rate all of our cigars scale 1 to 10. 1 to 10
Yeah,
all the
and we're
time.
not just saying it's good because you're here.
Yeah, no.
you're
No,
not-
no.
We're not,
We don't normally.
what is
No.
it called?
Whenever
We're
we
not
smoke cigars,
glazing.
I mean,
We're not
this is
glazed.
Texas. You don't do that.
no, at all. Actually, well, considering it's July now, not June, so we've got that behind us. So
We should be in Austin. It'd be a different story.
Yeah, if we were in Austin, yeah, there'd be
That's what I
glazing.
hear. I
Yeah.
go there and then they're like, oh, it's because California.
yeah,
Like, you can't blame it all on us. Yes, I get that we're assholes.
yeah.
But we're not responsible for the whole
Everything.
world's demise.
Don't
It's okay, I was born in California also,
Were you?
so
Yeah,
yeah.
he
Yeah,
was.
so you get it.
I get it a little bit, yeah.
Makes sense now, right?
But that's also why he's wearing a flower shirt.
Yep, that's why I had you twist my nipple before we started.
Yeah.
and I
Yeah, before we
moaned a
started,
little
because
bit.
it gets you going. So the at the end here, what we like to do is we like to do a little bit of rapid fire. So you ready for some rapid fire? Rapid fire questions. Dream blend collaboration. Who would you? I mean, dead or alive? Who would you love to make a cigar collaboration with?
Oh, Dion.
Dion?
It will never happen, but Dion.
Yeah. Okay. Favorite non-wildfire cigar
Currently?
currently?
Was it Matapa? Whatever, the Foundation.
Oh, Foundation.
Yeah.
Matapa from Foundation.
I think it's the so he had the Olmec, and then is it the Matapa, the newer one?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's yes, yeah, because
The
the Olmec.
natural of that, yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know
The
what you're talking
Habano.
about.
Yeah.
would be.
And then, what advice would you have for your younger self?
For my younger self?
Yeah, starting out.
Fuck me.
That's
That
a little
wouldn't be the
weird.
advice.
That's a little weird advice.
Man, here's the thing. That's a deep rabbit hole to go
Yeah.
down. Because here's the thing. I've made so many fucking mistakes.
Sure.
And bad decisions.
Sure.
However, that's the only way I learn. So
Yep.
had I not, I would not be here.
Yeah.
Right? Like, so I need those bad decisions to be there. So I don't know. I mean, if I was going to give myself advice, maybe I would have told myself to bet on a certain World Series so I can make some money.
There we go.
Or something.
There we
Yeah.
It would have been around that, but it wouldn't have been around my.
Yeah.
Some
Life.
lotto numbers.
Yeah,
Some lotto numbers or something.
yeah.
Go ahead, Javi. Next one.
Pineapple on pizza, yes or no?
I'm not a hater of it.
Thank God, man.
But
Pete
see,
Johnson.
here's the
Pete
thing.
Johnson was iffy on it, man.
I don't hate it, but I don't like. I don't want Canadian bacon on it because that's ham.
Yeah.
That's not
Yeah.
bacon.
Yeah.
I got you.
I have more of
got
a
you.
problem with that than I do the pineapple.
Why do they call
Okay,
it
I
Canadian
respect
bacon?
Now,
Actually,
I can go bacon and pineapple on a pizza, and I'm
Maybe
totally
I gotta
good.
try that.
yeah, bacon.
It's always ham.
Crispy
Why is it called
bacon.
Canadian bacon? I don't understand that, but it's ham. All it is ham.
It's ham.
I don't know.
Pretty
Fucking
sure the Canadians
Canadians.
have bacon, don't they? So why is it Canadian bacon?
I don't know where that term came from,
Huh.
but it's stupid.
It is.
Tune in next time where we
Dive
where we
into the
dive into
conspiracy.
Canadian bacon.
We're gonna
if you could
edit an etymology of Canadian bacon.
exactly,
Yep.
exactly.
We should Google where that came from.
We should.
We should. I'm very curious now. If you had a superpower for a day, what would it be? What would you choose?
Invisibility.
Invisibility?
Yeah.
You just pants people?
Oh, I would do a lot of inappropriate things. Sure.
If you could drink with any
People
celebrity,
would be the first thing. Though.
if you could have a
Not for
drink with
me
any
either.
celebrity, any historical figure, who would it be?
Meat?
So yeah, no, you have to drink. Sit down and drink with.
Oh, sit down and have a drink.
Besides Keith, yeah, obviously.
Well, it would definitely be at Club Humidor where I would have this meat.
That's absolutely. That's an absolute.
I don't know.
Musician, fucking
No, because they would probably just be assholes.
yeah, and it'd go a lot further than just
Yeah.
drinking.
Maybe Andre the Giant.
Okay,
Right.
yeah, that's a
I
good
think
one
he would be
actually. Yeah.
fun to
That's
sit
cool.
and have a drink with.
Fuck yeah.
You know, we could quote stuff from The Princess Bride to each other. Like, anybody want a peanut? You know, like, I'm just thinking it'd be a great hang. I mean, I got piggyback rides around here.
Around Club Humidor,
Yeah.
right? Especially Club Humidor.
So you're commissioned to make a crazy size for a cigar. What are you making?
I'll make like
Say it.
a 90 or something, and I'll call it the Donkey Dick.
That's
It'll be
pretty
called the DD.
The DD? That's
Yeah.
pretty good. That's pretty. A 90? God
90.
almighty.
Yeah.
That's
I'm not
scary.
doing it, but if I did,
That'd be
if I
cool.
make a 90, it'll
Yeah.
be called the Donkey Dick.
Yeah.
good. Yeah.
Javi's salivating. We got to stop talking
Yeah,
about
100%.
Tell me more about it.
What did you say? When is it coming
What
out?
tobaccos are you using?
How much is it going to be?
I'm just curious. Just curious. It's for science purposes. Want to thank you for coming on, spend a little time with us, talking with us. We appreciate it. Appreciate you coming down, helping out Club Humidor, and supporting the guys here. Honestly, all jokes aside, Club Humidor is one of the, most chill. We travel a lot to go to like different cigar shops and do all that kind of stuff. And we absolutely love Club Humidor. We always come back, right? So it's always our spot. So I want to thank the guys at Club Humidor for having us and letting us do the interview with Jeremy. But other than that, make sure you go when you're in town, when you're in San Antonio. Club Humidor's got 3 spots: San Pedro, Huebner.
Thousand Oaks.
Oh, don't get it wrong this time. He always gets it wrong sometimes, so we got to
You get it
question
wrong?
him.
Sometimes
Sometimes we got to. So that's
What
why I
do you
always got to
say?
get him on his
I
toes.
say like, instead of Thousand
Stone
Oaks,
Oak.
Stone Oak or some shit
Stone
like
Oak
that.
is fucking.
Yeah, I'm
no.
like Stone Oak.
No, but we want to thank everybody
Always
for. If you're in San Antonio, make sure you go and you hit up Club Humidor, where all the Wildfire cigars. You can come in, get as many as you want, all of them. Buy all
Yes.
of them. Buy as many as you can. Make sure you get their membership. And then when you see Jeremy, give him a little kiss, a little smooch on the cheek,
Or lips.
or lips, whatever's your fancy. But other than that, we're 2 guys rambling. We're out of here. Laters.
Thank you.